Burnout has been declared a legitimate medical diagnosis. As of 2019, doctors can send you home with a prescription for burnout, whatever that is. So what is burnout? According to the World Health Organization, burnout is a syndrome resulting from workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. Ding, ding, ding. And I'm paraphrasing here, but World Health Organization goes on to say that it's characterized by 3 different dimensions. So feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, a mental distance from joy in one's work. And so I think even a spiritual distance, a disconnect from the joy from one's work in life, almost to the point of an existential crisis. There's a cynicism in your perspective, like, this isn't going to get better or change or be different. This is just like my life, kind of that negative bias. And then 3, a reduced professional efficacy. So you're not as efficient, you're not as effective as you used to be when this was actually something that you were connected to. I personally have known burnout, especially after long projects that have put me through the ringer emotionally, physically, mentally. They've taken time, blood, sweat, tears, hustle. I feel like I wasn't managing the stress. So I can absolutely see that. You just kind of go, right? You're so driven. You wake up, it's like dusk till dawn. You just do that thing. And if you're balancing motherhood like I am with business or with projects outside of motherhood, then it's a double whammy. And every relationship really does suffer from that hustle mentality. I digress. Let's get back to burnout. It's like recovering from jet lag or daylight savings change. I just need a second, just give me a second. I think burnout is mental. That is really where you feel it, burnout. It's in the mind. And it feels like the stress of living in survival mode. Because think about it. What is survival mode? It's fight or flight. It's always defensive. It's always being on guard for your safety, in defense of your protection, right? We can't go in survival mode and never have peace. So whether it's you wanting to escape the stress at home or the stress at work or the stress in life, finances, relationships, body, all those areas could amount to burning out in some way, right? Just kind of having met your edge. I don't know what to do from here. I can't even think straight. And I know as a wife and a mother, it can feel that hard sometimes. Marriage and motherhood are hard, right? Let alone career. If you're doing something that feels like you're hustling toward a finish line, then without resting, stopping for pause, really detaching from the objective and just kind of resting away from the constant murmur of thought around that thing, then you're bound for burnout. Because it's like study and learning curves and climbing this mountain of information and knowledge and know-how and skill and effort and labor, all that intensity put into implementation and execution, and then the immediate feedback from those things, it worked or it didn't work. All that's very taxing on the adrenals, the nervous system, the physiology, let alone psychically, what it's doing to our minds. But the feelings do really run the gamut when you are burned out. Pre-burnout, during burnout, and post-burnout. It's kind of this merging of thought and emotion. And so here's what it feels like. Emotional exhaustion, feeling drained, fatigued, and lacking energy, difficulty concentrating, increased irritability and mood swings, feeling overwhelmed, unable to cope. It feels like, to give an example, you want to go see friends, but you really can't be bothered with the triviality of humor in sometimes lighthearted conversation, or even just the catch-up necessary to kind of break the ice of not having seen friends in a while. Sometimes that can feel too much to deal with. You'd rather just be on the couch binge watching Netflix or going straight to bed. And burnout isn't depression, but it does kind of seem like it could take you there, right? Too much burnout could absolutely lead to that feeling of hopelessness that ultimately leads to depression. So seek medical advice if you're feeling that despair, that hopelessness, that loss of joy for certain things that maybe you used to before, if it's going on for too long. And then cynicism, what does that feel like with burnout? Well, it feels like a negative, cynical attitude toward work and other responsibilities. Like you just want to check out from all that. You're feeling emotionally just not connected, not resonating with your job or your hobbies, loss of motivation or interest, increased absenteeism or presenteeism, physically present but mentally absent. So this can look like flaking on those friends. Maybe you made plans with them, you had kind of all this, the vision for, oh yeah, let's get together, and you were all excited about it, but you're canceling last minute. So you're flaking on the date because you're just really not there. Like you can't be present. You just are in a fog, a daze, a cloud. Don't talk to me, it will not make sense. And so here's where the mental aspect of that comes in. It's like you could and would have fun with these friends, but in this moment it's just like, I am so depleted of all energy necessary to pull this off that I just need to check out. And then reduce personal efficacy. So this feels like difficulty making decisions, feeling incompetent or a sense of failure, decreased productivity and creativity, self-doubt and negative self-image. So this is kind of where, so to go back to that friend analogy, you want to be that friend, but you're feeling too scattered, too confused, right? You can't put a finger on what you're feeling and why. You don't have the mental stamina or bandwidth to see anybody, to see this person. So like I said, that kind of like overwhelm, mental overwhelm, is burnout, because it's not causing you to live fully in the moment. Like you need a stop. You need a stop gap in there that looks like you doing the complete opposite of what you were doing to be burned out. So if that's a day off from work, if that's a day away from the house, if that's a day gallivanting in nature and literally sinking your toes into the dirt, then that's what it means. I think if we strike that balance where it's like, we don't go too long without rest, sufficient rest, really like check out rest, then we do stand to not have a recovery long enough to counter the damage that the burnout has done to our physiology. And so the body's saying something, and the mind either wants to listen or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, then it's just going to keep on overdrive, keep overloading the system to where the computer's like, whoa, had enough, and it's not working anymore. There's not enough memory to boost and load and operate the programs you want to open. So let's say in the case of reduced professional efficacy, you are, really scattered, confused at work. You're just foggy and cloudy and inefficient and ineffective at work. Like you're just wanting to throw in the towel, call it a day and walk out. So this is kind of the prompt to speak with your boss about some time off. Nearly 3 in 5 employees reported negative work-related stress somehow, some way, including lack of interest, motivation, or energy. And then you've got 30% of the workforce reporting cognitive weariness, emotional exhaustion, and an astounding 44% report physical fatigue. Since really learning about burnout and understanding this and embodying this idea of balance, right? Rest and action, balancing the two and making sure that they're happening in my life in equal proportion. If I feel so run to the ground as mother, as entrepreneur, as wife, as daughter, as friend, then I know that it's like I see the signs, it's coming, I'm dehydrated. Then it's like, I've got to drink water. I'm starting to get like a headache because maybe I'm thinking too much, reading too much, taking in too much stimulation. then I've got to go in a dark room, turn off all the noise, all the screens, and just rest. Sometimes it might look like reading a book, an actual paperback, instead of a screen, instead of reading on my Kindle, because my eyes are telling me, hey, I'm really tired. My retina is fatigued. So recognizing those signs, when you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So that's a sign that, we've already been warned by our body to do something and you have not done it. So let's get into some ideas. I put together a little list of how we can best avoid burnout. And I say this, we can avoid burnout with these. We can also recover from burnout with these tips, okay? So remember what I said about kind of noticing the signs and trying to insert something self-care related, something rest related, right there before it goes too far. So here's my list. I'll read it off. Prioritize sleep. So aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. Try. Healthy diet. Nourish your body with well-balanced meals. So you know what that means for you. If you're doing too much sweets, then it starts to be that you back off the sweets and focus on the meals first before snacking. Regular exercise, move your body. I believe movement and mental health are in combination. They're absolutely a duo. It's a mind and body connection. So engage in physical activity at least every day, something. It may not make you sweat, but it's something. It's something that moves your body, that you enjoy, that really kind of delights you. I think dance is a great one. Yoga, another one. Walking in nature, so it's something beautiful to take in and you're taking fresh air from the trees and the sights and the sounds of nature. All that, very, very good. Mindfulness techniques. So practice meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises to reduce stress. If you need any of that, I'll put some links down below because I do have sessions in breath and body alignment. And then hobbies and interests. So make time for activities that bring you joy and relax you physically, mentally. Now, when I say relax you, it is absolutely like a whole body relaxation. If some part of you is still tense, if you're still holding tension and energy in your shoulders while you're trying to meditate, then you're not fully relaxed. If you have tension in your forehead and your temples and you're kind of furrowing at the brow, you're not really relaxed. So there's a lot of yoga nidra is a great one for this. Massages, getting a massage, great one for this. So it's like if you are able to do those things that help you fully relax, then you are countering the effects of burnout. Stress management. This is a great one to help prevent burnout. So set boundaries, clear limits on your workload and your availability. Say no more often. Say, not right now, not at this time. I got to put it off until, the unforeseeable future. But I will get back to you because it's important to me. So put it on your calendar to follow up with so-and-so in, 2 months so that you don't forget, because you do want to be, reliable, a good friend and all that. But there are times in our lives where our bandwidth is limited because the capacity of work at home, for instance, with a mother of littles, for me, the load is strikingly different than a single person or a mother of one. So I can imagine a mother of 3 really having to take what she sees as balance, being that, right now I'm a homebody. I'm not putting more on my plate than I need to do. I don't want to take on projects around the house until things are a little bit smoother, with some downtime, right? And I'm not constantly interrupted by little toddlers. Time management. So use effective time management techniques to prioritize tasks. Now, I'm a big, big believer in productivity, and I have a minimalist approach to productivity, like find the single most important thing to do every day. And if you can check that off the list, you're accomplished and done, and you can call it quits. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, some ways to avoid burnout or recover from burnout is to take more breaks. Like write it into the calendar that you are stepping away from your computer screen, away from any screen whatsoever, and giving yourself the resting of your eyes, your optic nerve, giving literal rest to your eyelids, to your shoulders. If that's going to get a massage, taking a walk, getting out in nature, laying on the grass and the sunshine to get vitamin D, to get that energy, then do that. Step away. I love Pomodoros for this reason, where you work and then you work for about 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break, then work for 50, take a 10-minute break. So that's a great way to make sure that you're focused and getting stuff done that you need to get done in an allotted amount of time, and then forcing a break in. And what is magical about that process is that you do the complete opposite of what you were doing in those 50 minutes. You've got to reset and renew your attention, right? If you're looking at a screen, then you've got to get up and focus on something far away for those 10 minutes. So take more breaks. Build that into your business as a function of its success. So this does take some pre-planning, not going straight into strategy, but standing back and building a vision for your business. Because if you're starting business for what I think you're starting it for, more time, freedom, money, freedom, all those things, then you kind of have to start from day one with that foundational principle in place. And then just to close this out, I want to circle back to breath and body work. So this is just making sure that you are breathing into the places that are tight in your downtime. So breathing into your head, cleaning out the head, right, of all the stuff that's been stuck up there because you're working on something huge and it's a heavy mental burden, right? And so it's mentally taxing. So you're thinking about all those things. And maybe you're also thinking about motherhood too, right? Being a mother and what goes into that job. What are you going to make for dinner? Oh, I've got to do laundry. Oh, I've got to do this, as well as what's happening on the work front. It's like, so balancing those two, breathing into that headspace and clearing it out. Visualize the breath doing the cleaning. Breathe out through the shoulders, all where I keep tension, all right here. I always get like really tight in there. So breathing with intention there. Breathing into ankles, right? If you're tight, if you're on your feet all day, breathing into your ankles and moving your toes and opening up that energy. That's going to really make a big difference, okay, in realigning and just opening up and rejuvenating yourself for the rest of the day. I really do believe in breath and body work, and it is something that I teach and love, something I practice, it's something I embody. So I would love to bring more of that to you as a way to prevent burnout. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe on this video so that I know that you're watching it, it's reaching people, it matters, so that I can continue to do this, because I really do want to keep doing this. Okay, that's all for now. See you next week. Peace.